Let's talk about the automatic braking devices that the FMCSA wants to make a rule that all new trucks are going to have in it. I want opinions. We'll talk about things that I've heard and discuss if it's a good idea or not for the future. So today I got my monthly landline magazine. And on the front page, very dangerous. Hawaii truckers say an automatic emergency brake mandate would jeopardize safety. And I know a little bit about these things. Of course, you know, the two trucks I own, one is an 06 and one is an 04. So I've never dealt with these. However, I have a lot of friends in the industry and a lot of people have talked to me about these. Overall, it doesn't sound great to me. Now, the way I understand it, this automatic braking is different than lane mitigation and everything. I think they're two totally separate systems, but somebody let me know if that's true. I believe the lane mitigation is telling you if you're wandering too far from your lane or whatever. But this is actually the FMCSA wants to make this mandatory on all trucks starting next year. Spring of next year, they want it to go into effect, and it says in the article that companies would have 3 years, 3 years to comply with it. And there's a story in here from a girl named, let me see, Carrie Moore, that had some big problems one time where she was going down the road and it was a snowy condition. She was going around a corner. Luckily, no one was around her. And the truck thought something was in front of it, so it locked up the brakes in the snow. Luckily, she was able to pull out of it. She's a 10-year veteran in the business, so she was actually able to pull out of it by giving some throttle. But she said it was throwing her into a full-on jackknife. I've heard a lot of other stories about this, but I want to do this open-minded as it's something that I've never dealt with, firsthand in my driving. So, maybe there's some good sides to it. I don't know. Let's discuss who is for it. So the people who really want this is actually the NHTSA, the National Highway Truck Safety Administration, and also the Truck Safety Coalition. I know they say truck in the name. It sounds like they're all about truck drivers, but trust me, these are not our friends. Just like the FMCSA is not our friends. They tend to throw things, out there long before the technology is there, make stupid regulations. They've been doing this forever. In fact, the Truck Safety Coalition said large truck automatic emergency braking systems, by the way, these are called AEBs, automatic emergency braking, is game-changing. Proven technology that can drive down the disturbing prevalence of truck crash deaths and injuries. The Truck Safety Coalition wrote in its comments, requiring this technology on commercial motor vehicles is long overdue. I don't think this technology's been out all that long to be long overdue. I don't know. It does go on to give some crazy numbers. Conservatively, the proposal would conservatively prevent an estimated 19,118 crashes, save 155 lives, and reduce 8,814 non-fatal injuries annually. I don't know how they come up with them numbers, but there are some things that they're not addressing on that. And one of them is that these systems are not good systems yet. Just like everything else, and this is what the FMCSA does, this is what the government does as a whole. They try to throw in stupid rules. They hear something new, and we're just going to put it into effect. Yeah, we're just going to make this a rule. There were comments from truck drivers, many truck drivers. Carrie Moore told her story, but there was lots of other truck drivers that just said different problems that they had over the years. I was actually just watching a YouTube video, Trucker Dave in Red. I like Trucker Dave. I watch everything he does pretty much. But he's actually been on the hunt for a new truck. He actually sold his truck when he got a good offer, didn't have one, and he was very picky about what he bought. So he looked for a while, and he actually just recently bought one. And his last video is all about it. But in that, he talks about the automatic emergency braking system still being hooked up. He thought it was unhooked, and he needs to get it unhooked. He said one time driving under a bridge, it thought he was coming up on something and it jammed on his brakes. He also said another time there was a truck in the other lane and it jammed on the brakes. And that's actually a lot of what the comments are on here. Yeah, just crazy things that are going on. And actually right now, the systems are probably going to be recalled on Freightliner and Western Star trucks that they're on, because there are, what did it say here? 18 complaints of false AEB activation without an actual roadside obstacle. It actually said sometimes it would stop them right in the middle of a travel lane. There's jam on the brakes in the middle of a travel lane. And that's pretty bad in the best of conditions. But I don't know, let's discuss some different trucking operations. So when I say different kind of operations, I'm talking about, let's start with flatbedders. And, I know they say your load should be secured as good as it never moves, but then it actually happens on dry vans too. If you hit the brakes too hard, you can dump the front. I've seen the front of trailers knocked out. The one that really gets me is tankers. So I've actually never pulled tanker in my life. I have tanker endorsement, and the reason is because I do haul a lot of totes. I do a lot of hazmat. A lot of them are the big totes, and you have to have the tanker endorsement for them. And I know even with them, you feel the surge, and I don't want my brakes coming on automatically with them in there. Like I said, I've never pulled a tanker, but I can only imagine, especially a false one. But think about this, at least most of us on the road, at least once a day, I would say at least once a day, has a car cut us off to get off the exit. Has to come around us last minute, jump across both lanes, get off the exit. Not always too close, but it's a stupid move, especially when you consider how much time it saves. But that's another episode. So every time it does that, the trucks behind it are going to have their brakes jamming on. Yeah, that's just crazy. So we haven't even talked about bad weather yet, and that's a whole nother source of an issue, especially with these false, the false activations that are happening. I mean, like I said, I tried to go into this, very neutral. And please, guys, if you guys, a lot of you guys have newer trucks out there and are running this already, whether it's a company, I even know some owner-operators that chose to have the mitigation and have all that in there. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if there's been bad situations to put it in, or if there was a time that it actually did save you. Or is this just something for bad drivers? Now, I'm not saying, all of us make a mistake now and then, but I've never had a rear end accident, knock on wood. I got my wood desk here. I'm not better than anybody, but I've never had a rear end accident. So, how many lives would this save with me in my truck? I mean, well over 1 million miles, 22 years, 21 years. No, it's 22. 22 years driving and never had a rear end accident. So is this needed in my truck? Or is the danger of what it could cost, on bad roads, even wet roads? They're talking about snowy roads, but even wet. Yeah, wet can be pretty bad sometimes. And here's the other thing. What's this controlled by as far as weight? We all know that actually an empty truck can be more dangerous than a loaded truck. So is it going to know that you're empty? Is it going to go by your the weight on your airbags and know how empty you are? Because if you jam it on with an empty trailer, you're going to get a whole different result, as most of you know. Wow. Yeah, something to think about. Well, so I guess me remaining neutral was really just a bunch of crap. I did try to remain neutral, but I am in my comments. If you guys want to come at me, and say that you're happy with this system, or you like it, or in support of it, I'm willing to listen to everything. Like I said, I've never driven a truck that has it. But just for fun, let's talk about stupid decisions that were made in the trucking industry by the government for us, mostly the FMCSA. I mean, yeah, I'm a fan of the FMCSA, but yeah, anyway. OIDA actually addresses it here in Landline Magazine, and they talk about when anti-lock brake systems, which I didn't know they were this old. It was actually in 1969 that the NHTSA began a regulatory process to mandate anti-lock brakes for trucks. And in 1975, it was required on trucks. And it goes in to talk about a whole bunch of things like Consolidated Freightways, at the time, reported that 65% of its anti-lock brake systems had malfunctioned. So nowadays, I mean, I love anti-lock brakes. I think they work great. You know, every now and then there's a malfunction on them, but they're pretty good systems. But requiring it on vehicles before it's finished. You just can't, oh, hey, we got new technology, we're going to put it in a truck. Other stupid times they did this. Does everybody remember trucking in, let's say, 2008 to 2013, when every new truck that was coming out was pretty much spending more time in the shop? It bankrupted so many people. It almost bankrupted multiple companies, actually including, I heard that Navistar almost went bankrupt when they came out with their Max Force engine, and a lot of it was because of this technology. They were trying to integrate this technology into an engine, and we're pretty much there now. The trucks are running pretty good with the DEF. It is helping our environment, but you can't just require it and give people no time, you know, to perfect it, or at least work on perfecting it. And this technology does not look like it's there yet, just like anti-lock braking was not there in the 1970s yet. You know, DEF or the DPFs, the diesel particulate filters, were not there in 2008 when it was mandated, and then 2000, whenever it was updated again. Remember, the first ones only had the DPFs. They didn't take DEF and everything. But then when they upgraded again, the DEF had all kinds of more problems until finally these companies figured it out. So this is what the government does, and I know a lot of my subscribers are retired guys or close to retired guys for the you know, old trucking company videos I do. Some of you guys that were around the 70s with these anti-lock brakes, tell me what that was like. I can only imagine. I didn't actually know that this was an issue, because obviously I wasn't driving in the 70s. But I did not know that this was as big of an issue as it was. But it does make sense. Government comes out with something stupid. But hey guys, tell me what you think down in the comments. Yeah, if you're for it, if you have the equipment on your trucks and you like it, if you have the equipment on your trucks you don't like it, if you're, you know, you were driving in the 70s, want to tell me what happened with the, you know, with the anti-lock brakes. Hey, anything. I love all the comments. I read every single comment. If you don't want to comment, you can put it down here. Down here's my email. It's finchresources@gmail.com. You can email me anytime. I don't always get to them right away, but usually within a couple days I get to them. I'm also available on Facebook and Instagram under the Trucking Resources name. And hey guys, you know, thanks for listening to this, and I'll catch you on the next one.